One of Australia's newest airlines in the form of Bonza has cancelled flights today amid ongoing financial pressures and aircraft difficulties. The Australian Financial Review reports that creditors are repossessing the fleet that consists of 8 jets, which would severely obviously limit the airline's ability to continue offering scheduled services. Bonza exclusively operates with the 737 MAX family, which have allowed it to offer one of the youngest fleets in the region. The Australian Financial Review also reported that the company had only weeks ago sought extra help managing its finances. The report indicated that the airline was in a lot more trouble than initially thought out. However, the budget company denied these claims quite strongly at that point. Bonza's fleet has certainly had its ups and downs, with ex-Bonza jets being seen in Europe amid more curious decisions, and during the most recent Australian summer schedule, the carrier operated Flair Airlines jets from Canada to help boost capacity. Tim Jordan, the founder and CEO of Bonza, said in a brief statement that the service suspension is merely temporary. Jordan says that before the airline can resume flights, important discussions must be held internally about the viability of the business. Bonza has been in the headlines for a considerable period. Many people would argue that it was in the headlines before it even launched scheduled operations, and a lot of it has been regarding its finances and position within the aviation sector, with a general feeling that some of your big players, such as the Qantas Group, aren't the biggest fans of this airline entering the market. Now, after launching just over a year ago, there are concerns especially about its long-term ability to offer scheduled flights. Much of this focus rested on the persistent difficulties with 777 partners, the partner airline Flair, reliability, and finances. Despite there being a very high appetite for low-cost travel within Australia, airfares, just like some other countries such as Canada, are a huge problem here in the country, but obviously making low-cost travel in Australia work is a whole nother challenge that needs to be discussed in another video. Bonza, like I said, launched at the beginning of 2023. Largely the launch at this time was made possible thanks to the pandemic and the availability of 737 MAX jets that had not been taken on by their originally designated airline. Following the launch, the company has adjusted the schedule on multiple occasions. Essentially speaking, from an analyst's perspective, the company really looked at throwing darts and just hoping some of them landed. Throughout its brief stint in the sector, it suspended, launched, cancelled, and moved many services around, hoping to find an ideal middle ground that would see it be profitable. The airline's operations, for the most part, are centred around the eastern part of Australia. The Australian carrier uses Melbourne, Sunshine Coast, and the Gold Coast as its 3 core bases, the latter being the newest of the trio. But now, services from these locations are being suspended. Virgin Australia stated that they're aware of the suspension of Bonza flights, albeit temporarily, and it is offering its own support to impacted customers. The Australian carrier said, and I quote, "It'll immediately support any passengers stranded mid-journey by offering complimentary seats on Virgin Australia operated flights to the airport nearest to their final planned Bonza destination. If you're stuck in an airport, please do go and speak with someone from Virgin Australia. Alternatively, you can call their guest contact centre." So the fate of Bonza, it certainly seems to be up in the air, with a lot of uncertainty around it. While this is a temporary suspension, if the Australian Financial Review is true in saying that its aircraft are being repossessed, Bonza will have some significant problems on its hands, and a general inability to offer services, period. You can let me know your thoughts down below in the comments. This is obviously unfortunate to see in our Australian industry. As airfares continue to increase and more people get priced out of travel, Bonza promised to bring the airfares down, and it did do that through several routes, but its stay in the industry appears, at least at this point, to have been relatively short-lived. We'll see what unfolds over the coming days, and I'll continue to keep you posted. Thanks for watching, take care, be safe, and I'll see you next time.